Here, what's up YouTube, what's up Twitch?
What's up YouTube? Twitch.
We are
What's up?
live now. Just putting it in my stories, guys, because you know that's a thing. And then we put the link here. I like now how Instagram you can put links.
Oh
in
yeah,
your
that's
stories.
a game changer.
I don't know, like they only allowed companies to do it in the beginning, but now everybody can do it, which is dope.
That's a game changer.
There we go.
Link here. No more link in bio bullshit.
Yeah.
Link right here.
Okay, good. Look at that nice story right there. You can't see it. It's too bright. Okay, so the heading that we came across recently is, yeah, two females impregnated by transgender fellow inmate. Let me share my screen so you guys can see that. Which one should we look at here? Toronto Sun? Oh, Toronto Sun. India Today, Mirror.co. What's a good one?
Do Toronto Sun, why not?
All right, fine. Toronto.
Why not?
It's Toronto.
It's the six
Oh,
side.
let's not do that.
It's the six
Oh,
side.
let's not do that. Oops, I gotta mute that. Okay, so how do we feel about this, guys?
I thought the story
stupid.
was.
So yeah, you Deji, you found it first. What'd you think? Like, why was this something like that went ooh and ah for you? What were
Because
the
I've
first
never
things
read.
that came?
I've never read anything like this.
Yeah,
You know, I mean,
it's definitely shock factor.
you definitely know, I guess, that inmates are having some sort of sexual relations in jail.
Yeah.
You know, because you pointed that out when I showed everyone the article.
Yeah, did you read the whole article?
I did, because it was actually like, I didn't know about this. It was quite fascinating to me. But jail is a very weird place, man. A lot of fucked up shit happens in jail, so this isn't really even like close to the worst shit I've heard that like happens in jail, right?
Right.
I gotta tell you some shit later. But I thought, okay, what happens now when the inmates are pregnant? Who's responsible for this child? Are these children just going to be placed into the system? If these are an increasing number of children that are being born because of this, as at some point is some person in some legislative authority going to be like, okay, we're allowing all these orphans or all these all these well, I guess what would they call kids? All these kids in the system being born because of this prison situation where we're allowing these this demographic of inmates to interact. I don't know. I feel like that's just like a unprecedented thing that's happening. You know.
Okay.
So,
Tom,
yeah.
any initial thoughts before I chime in?
I'm not surprised that this shit's happening, but yeah, those kids they're fucked. So where are they gonna go? So
Okay,
I'm just curious to know what the people who are involved, what their crimes are. Is this it's a correctional facility, but
like
are these
a heavy security,
these,
like a high security? I don't.
yeah, is this like, will these people have a chance to be parents, even though I'm gonna gamble that they're gonna be shitty and probably won't, but will they have a chance to parent these kids?
Okay. So having read the whole article, I just give some people some context. If you haven't read it or if you don't want to read it, that's fine. But basically, there's some details that's not in the heading, but I think is important to know. So this is a women's only correctional facility, and regardless of trans inmates or not, there were like sexual acts being committed, and they're all prohibited. All sexual relations between any of the inmates are prohibited, yet they happen anyway. They continue. So there's some that are consensual, there's some that are not. So there's assault's happening as well in this prison. So for this specific headline, it's consensual. So they are allowing trans women to be in this facility as well. They are taking part in sexual acts just like cisgendered women. But this is the only difference now is they have male reproductive organs. So they were consensual, both were consensual. And it was found like it was like some post where the women were claimed to be pregnant first, and then this trans woman came out and spoke out that said that she was the one who impregnated them. So there's the summary, the full summary of this scenario. So there's no detail if they were actually going to have these babies. One, like, we don't know if it's like a pro-choice, pro-life scenario. We don't even know if they're going to proceed with the pregnancy. That's the thing. They only called it like impregnated. They didn't say anything about like having a child. So for us to go to that level, I mean, that's part of the debate for sure. That's part of the discussion. But at this point, you know, we take it as they're pregnant. So let's look at it first. Is this like a pro-choice, pro-life matter? Does the inmate get to choose? If it's pro-life, if it's like a Catholic kind of affiliation, is the state going to take custody? You know what I mean? Like, is it? It's not going to be the parents. You can't raise the kid in jail. That's not how it works. You would. It's instant.
Sorry, finish.
Yeah. Sorry, but yeah, that's where my line of thinking. Like, I'm thinking procedure wise. If the babies are born, they're not going to stay in the jail. They're not going to be parenting these babies. It would go to the state. That's my guess. Right.
That's what I was thinking. Like, I think it would also depend what state it is, because I'm not sure what state this occurred in, but I think like depending on the state laws, because they're all different in the
New
U.S.
Jersey,
right?
New Jersey.
Yeah, so I don't know what the pro-choice, pro-life laws are out there. So I think that would be a huge factor. Yeah, you wouldn't be, because like this is the thing, right? I think when you have conjugal visits, inmates may get pregnant or the inmate's partner may get pregnant, but it's like one of the people is like outside of the jail and they can still like raise the kid. But it's like if both of them are in the jail.
Yeah. Well, the first thing comes, it's like this is a pro-choice, pro-life matter, right off the bat. I think that is going to be like the main kind of concern first. Yeah, the headline is that it's a trans woman. Well, we'll get into that after. I think the importance though is now this potential child or these potential children, right? And yeah, that's already still on fence for a lot of people. If these women, because obviously, it's the woman that has the choice or not, but it's going to be up to these women, these pregnant women, if they want to have it or not.
And that's another thing I was reading in the article that stood out to me was like they made a note of mentioning that as far as admitting inmates to the facility who identify as women, there's no corrective surgery required to do that, right? And I was wondering, like,
it's
I was like, why would that
a lot
be
of
highlighted?
lawsuits and crying.
And I was like, oh, I guess like they have to highlight that because that is kind of the important factor because of the reproductive
Big time.
organs and like the ability to now like impregnate someone.
Well, you said you've heard about conjugal visits. Is this the first? I don't know, guys. I don't really read a lot of news about prisons, but like I don't hear a lot of people getting pregnant in prison, even in conjugal visits.
Yeah, I mean, I just know like you hear the story about, you remember the story about Mike Tyson, I think, getting his girlfriend pregnant while he was in prison. I think that's what happened, or like having sex with someone while he was in prison. I don't know if he got them pregnant, but
yeah,
I'm sure it's possible. I'm sure it's happened.
Right. Well, even in, I mean, I assume the documentary where I think it was Ted Bundy. Like, I think he had conjugal visits, or at least maybe it was just the movie, the Netflix documentary. Well, yeah, reenactment or whatever like that. But, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the protocol is for a woman who gets pregnant in jail, even if it's
Yeah.
not this trans
I mean,
thing.
does the facility even have the medicine and all that stuff to take care of a pregnant woman through its,
Oh, through a
9
term?
months?
That's
Like,
true too.
yeah.
I mean, they're
This
not
is a
gonna
fucking
deliver
jail.
there. They wouldn't.
So
I'm assuming they don't deliver there
no,
either.
I mean that's not. Yeah, so it's kind of a weird one, but I'm telling you, see, all the trans stuff affects the women.
Okay. So, and like what you're saying too, they have to like vet. Okay, is this post-op? Is this pre-op trans? Honestly, I feel like it's a very clear-cut solution. Same with sports. Same with any like debate on even washrooms, like public washrooms. Should they be allowed in women's washrooms? Should they be allowed in men's washrooms? If this is going to be a mainstream thing, they need their own category. So if they're going to go to a correctional facility, then they're going to have their own correctional facility too. Like, it's going to be
No,
a
they could
trans
just change
only.
They could change the wording.
Of
They
what?
could just call it the Vagina Club and the Penis Club. That's
For
it.
what?
No matter what you think in your head, this is the vagina jail.
Yeah, but
This is the
post-op or
penis
pre-op?
jail.
No, yeah, but post-op, pre-op.
Well, I mean, if you're post-op, then I guess it. But I mean, if you just get it down, what are you carrying right now in those trousers of yours? Well, then that's it. I mean, you can call anything you want, but everything has a category.
Well, let's think about this too.
We're making the categories so.
Because I know when you're transitioning, you have to take these drugs, right? You have to take hormones and stuff. So, are they even allowed to take those when they're in jail? Or isn't that like, that's not part of the substances they're allowed to take in jail, right? It's a very controlled and limited amount of access. Why would they be allowed, like a woman, let's say a woman who's transitioning to be a man, is she really going to be allowed to take steroids while she's in jail? Probably not. You know what I mean? You can't take steroids in jail. Like, can you?
Yeah,
can you take steroids?
It's all weird, yeah, for sure. Well, here's the funny thing, right? You're gonna notice, I think, more of these stories because, just like you said, you haven't been following a lot of the deal, but I have been, and I've seen stories come out where guys are going to jail and then they're claiming now they're trans. So in some states, if they claim they're a trans woman, they're going into a woman's jail. There's so many big open loopholes.
So they're doing that,
and you're never going to see a trans.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, for sure. Why not? Look it up. There's stories already now. Guys who rape women are now claiming, "Oh, I'm a trans woman," so they don't get put in a fucking male fucking prison, and they get shipped to a fucking food fest.
Oh, dude.
Look it up. It's happening.
That makes
trans
sense,
men,
but I don't want
trans
it to
men are not being forced to go into. Trans men are not so quick to go into a man's prison.
Yeah.
No
way.
Yeah,
no.
I got a vagina, so I'm staying.
Yeah.
They're staying.
No way.
All the trans are staying in the women's prisons. All the trans are staying in the women's prisons.
Trans man, trans woman, they're in women's prisons. That's what you're saying?
That's right. Yep. That's being exploited just like anything else. So.
Well, that's the thing. If you can exploit it, it's just like sports. If there's exploitation, you remove the exploitation potential. Like, I don't understand these schools, like NCAA, like the swimming or Olympics or whatever it is, and now these trans people are competing in their transitioning gender, and they're like, well, we know of the men, the men, women, trans women are dominating the sports, and it's like, it's obvious. It's like, look at that. It doesn't make any sense. Or
the one thing that people forget about sports, right, is that sports is based on physical. Regardless of what you think in your mind, all sports is based on physicality.
Yeah, physical skill,
That's why they have like
talent.
division.
Yeah.
But people seem to forget that just because you're a trans woman and you feel like one, and
Yeah, your
but you're
brain
still a
all of a
dude. You're
sudden.
competing against same bodies. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're competing against same bodies against same bodies. That's the
yeah.
whole point of sports,
Well,
right?
but then they make the argument, yeah, but I'm taking these hormones or these I forget what the letters are that like
Yeah, but
it's
that's still your choice.
well that's the thing, it's not
You still have to
natural
think. You
anymore.
still have to. Yeah,
That's the thing
yeah.
about
You're
sports
nothing
too.
about them is natural.
It's not just the physical form, it's not just the physical ability, but it has to be a natural ability too. You know, I've heard people argue that there should be like a doping Olympics, like a doping
Yeah, freak
sports
Olympics. That'd be
thing.
the
Yeah,
best.
because it would be ridiculous. It would be hilarious, but
Yeah.
ridiculous and like impressive at the same time. You see somebody run the 100 meters in 8 seconds.
Let
It's like,
those people. Yeah, let those people destroy their bodies.
but at the same
You know?
time, at
I'd
the
watch
same
it. Fucking right, I would.
well, people do that in the gym anyway. Yeah, it's not competitive,
Mm.
but like a lot of bodybuilders, because they're not trying to try to get some medal or get some certificate or get some money. They just wanna
Oh yes.
dominate, right?
Yo, I gotta send you this video. Where can I send you this video, FJ? This is
Anywhere,
exactly
I'll
what
link
we're
it up.
talking
I'll show it. I'll show it.
Yeah,
You'd watch the doping Olympics all day. That's what I'm saying. See, a lot of people are fans of that, so they would have their
It's like
own.
freak of nature stuff.
But if you think about it, if there's a doping
Yeah.
Olympics, that means trans women, trans men, if they're taking these things because it's drugs, so that they can transition, whatever,
Yeah.
then they would have their own category. They can compete there. Then it's the same free for all. Is it really about fairness at that point? No, because everybody's taking drugs, right?
Yeah.
But sorry,
Correct.
where are you sending this to me, Deji? What is it?
Brack General.
Yeah. That
Hold
works.
up, right here. Yeah,
All right, let me.
it's hilarious. Yeah.
Most Def on Roger Clemens. Yo, the picture?
Yeah, took steroids.
Okay, here we go. You guys
Oh,
see
yeah.
it? Here we go.
Oh, what? Did I don't give a shit.
Wait, go all the way back. Go all the way
So
back.
Oh,
what? I don't give a goddamn what Roger Clemens did. I don't give a shit. So what? Listen, if you intend to throw a small ball at past 90 or 100 miles an hour, and you told me you took a special solution to do it, okay. You want to hit a ball, you want to run faster than most humans can run, and you tell me you took some special juice or liquid or a shot? Come on, man. There's people running around here with appendages they wasn't born with, fake asses, noses. Motherfucker, you tell me yes, I expect my sports heroes to take steroids, because the shit that they trying to do is hard. You can't just be doing that shit over your own human effort. And Lou Gehrig wasn't hitting no. This shit is crazy. Of course these motherfuckers is taking steroids. I hope they are, so I can keep watching amazing highlights. I give a fuck with Roger. Is this news? Why is nobody else getting mad about this shit? Roger Clemens, I shot you in the ass with steroids. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. Who gives a shit? Is they at the Senate with this shit? Fix New Orleans. I give a fuck what Roger Clemens did. He strikes people out. He plays a baseball. So what?
okay. Is there more? Do I need to watch the rest of this? Like, okay, we get it.
It's
We
pretty
get it.
funny. I mean,
We
you
get.
can if you want, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, in terms of service too, I don't want to like copyright
Oh,
whatever.
sure.
Like, just by watching that alone, probably I already did it. But
No, it's all
hopefully
good.
that's okay. So he
Yeah,
makes a
man,
point.
take
He makes a
care.
point, but it's not. I don't know, man. Like these rules, entertainment factor versus fairness, right? Because if Roger Clemens is allowed to do it, then everyone should be allowed to do it. But then if everyone's allowed to do it, then it's gonna be a different set of rules. DayDay, what's up?
So, David.
So I agree with him to a certain extent, but it has to be fair. If you're gonna maintain, there's a thing too. Do you hear about that guy? It's a long distance runner, and he's a, I guess you can call it paraplegic. He has like carbon fiber legs, like just those springy legs. So it's a long distance running event. So he wins. He wins against normal runners, right? He's not competing in, I think, the Paralympics. He's competing in with normal people. At least I don't know if it was Olympics or not, but it was maybe a world event, like a world competitive event. So he wins, and then the other contestants complain. They're saying he has an unfair advantage for having prosthetic legs. And worse for thinking about it. Seriously, guys, like, you're really gonna complain? This guy has no legs, and you're gonna complain that he won? And then you think about the science.
No, those legs aren't loaded.
Well, yeah, he's lighter. He doesn't have muscle fatigue. He has less areas for him to get muscle fatigue and like cramps and lactic acid and all that, because it's a long distance endurance event. So that makes sense now. Now the science checks out. Okay, he does have an unfair advantage because he has prosthetic legs. So in this scenario too, he should be competing in like the
Is he wearing shoes?
Nah, it's just like the little.
Is he wearing shoes on his legs?
No, it's just like those springy carbon fiber things that like have pads on the bottom.
So that's a huge advantage, I think.
Oh man,
that's a huge advantage.
Are the rest of the runners wearing that, or they're wearing shoes?
They're wearing their regular legs and shoes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you don't put shoes on prosthetic legs. Unless you want it to look like a normal leg. I have no idea what
prosthetic legs look like in the sports industry.
Here, let me pull it up.
Those things look fucking like
prosthetic running legs.
3000s.
There, you see those?
Those are like the sprint thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
those things have like, they bounce and they spring, right? So they push you and all that kind of shit.
Well, yeah, they have extra propulsion because there's elasticity. They're lighter weight. There's no liquid in them. And everything's being transferred directly to whatever that knee joint or whatever that thing is. So like, yeah, I get it. Full unfair advantage for somebody.
You know what
with
that's like? That's like lifting something. You can compare that to lifting something with just your arms as opposed to lifting it with just your back. Because like they're using the strength of like their thigh muscle, which is a way larger muscle than like their core, basically, to like propel themselves, right? Whereas like if you're running, you're also like using your legs mostly to kind of do a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
Why did they let this guy compete in the first place?
I guess they didn't think about I guess they didn't think he'd win. Most of the time, you think this is new. This isn't something that they've experienced before. They're like, oh, really? This guy with no legs wants to compete in a running event? Yeah, sure, if you want. And at the time, probably there were no regulate. I don't think they asked the other contestants. It was up to the event, right? Like the event's like, all right, you want to enter? All right, you got to qualify, I guess, or there's probably an entry fee. But they're like, if he's willing to pay and he worked. And all these contestants.
It wasn't
like
a major event, or like like a world championships or anything like that. Or...
It was. I feel like it was a major event. Let's look it up. Prosthetic.
Yeah, he would have to compete against other people.
Like I would just think you can't, because I know I know a lot of people who run. They even have to check their shoes to make sure they're fucking legal. All that kind of shit. You know what I mean? When you're in these running sports, like how do you check that guy's fucking feet? And compare it.
Okay, here. Double amputee Pistorius wins appeal over ban.
What's his name?
That's Oscar, but that guy's in jail.
Pistorius. Double amputee Olympic hopes dashed after losing appeal against a ban on the running blades that allow him to compete with able-bodied. Oh, he was in jail, yeah.
That guy killed his wife, man.
Whoa. Oh my god, what? Oh, I did hear about that, actually.
Yeah,
known as
shot her through the door.
Blade Runner
went from public hero to convicted murderer in a trial that drew worldwide interest. He becomes eligible for parole after serving half of his 13-year sentence. He shot his wife through the door? Why?
Oh, he's coming out soon. Yeah, he was saying, and it's weird because he was
girlfriend.
He's paranoid, and he's trying to. I think he did it and he knew it, but he's not blaming that. Through my trials and tribulations of being a two-leg or a not-legged athlete, I've taken a lot of drugs that made me insane and all that shit too. So like he tried to get out.
Oh, he's trying to blame
Put him in
his.
jail, yeah,
Shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The mental rigors of wanting to be normal, and he was taking all these drugs to feel better, and it caused him a psychosis. So that whole story was crazy.
Like, do you think? Okay, let's run it back. It's not a. We'll go back to the first headline about the trans jails. So you're saying
Pistorius.
you'd be cool with if everyone still has the reproductive organs of a female, like still like vagina, you're going to a jail filled with vaginas. That's what you're saying? As long as you cannot impregnate your inmates.
Yeah.
This is the heading.
You're not there to have a good time.
Do you see the headline there?
You're not in
DayDay?
jail to have a good time. Yeah.
Well, exactly. So I'm sharing yeah, 2 females impregnated by transgender fellow inmate. So
Oh, so there's a girl who became a guy, but she went to girls' jail?
guy who became a girl went to girls' jail,
Yeah.
but he still had the reproductive
Well,
organs of
she's-
a guy.
She
What?
just
Wait.
identifies. Just identifies.
How is she still how is he still a she if if she has a penis?
Well, you don't have to.
No, the
being
transgender
trans doesn't
female
mean
impregnated the women.
it's transgender doesn't mean what's the other one? Is it transvestite? Is that the word?
Same thing.
No, transgender, you don't have to do surgery. You don't have to do all that stuff. It's just how your mind works.
Exactly.
Wow.
But
You just
that's
have-
transvestite.
to
Like
be-
guys who like to dress up.
That's trans. No. That's a cross dresser. That's not a. What?
Same thing.
It's not.
To me, it's all the same thing.
To you.
It's the same thing.
Transvestite versus
like saying-
transgender. Okay, sorry. There's the other word, transsexual. But hold on.
Yeah.
So it was a case where the person
to check.
Oh, okay. A transvestite is a cross-dresser, guys. Sorry. So,
Oh.
a
That's what I
transgender
said. It's the same thing.
it as a cross-dresser, but it's not the same thing as a transgender or transsexual. It's not. It's not the same thing.
You know what? In people's
just-
minds, I'm gonna
I-
piss people off, but I think it's the same, no
I
matter what.
just read
because
it.
That's just
It's
the way
on
it
the
is.
screen. It says a
I mean, if you
transvestite
don't
is
wanna
someone
accept the
who can-
definition of a word. That's your choice.
Yeah, it's like anyway.
The sky
So
is
It's
here,
the same
here's
thing. There's too many trans.
All right,
There's
stop,
Too many
stop.
trans.
stop.
Yeah.
So a cross-dresser is just someone who wears the clothes of the opposite sex.
Uh-huh.
A transvestite can be a cross-dresser, but they still identify as their original. Okay, they like a transvestite a man who dresses like a woman can still identify as a man. A
Right.
cross-dresser who dresses like a woman can still identify as a man.
Mhm.
A transgender
Mhm.
is someone who identifies as the opposite sex. So that's a man with a brain that
Yeah.
thinks that they're a woman. Okay?
Oh, so it has nothing to do with
Yeah.
their
No, reproductive organs, that's a transsexual. When you're a transsexual, you went operation.
That's the
No, you
that's
did
the whole argument.
yeah.
So that's where the divide is, right?
transsexual is a
If
post
you have a penis but you think you're a woman, yeah.
Yeah.
But again, how do you divide the groups? There's so many groups now. Like, I mean,
Well, that's
if you
the
put
thing.
bags on these people's heads, you bags on these people's heads and divide them up. They're, you're going to see two distinct categories.
I completely
think.
agree that it should be divided or categorized with the reproductive organs.
Yeah.
Like that makes sense to me.
So
Sports-
this person who got impregnated, it was by someone who didn't change their parts.
So the two
Correct.
women are regular women, and
Uh-huh.
there was a trans woman who is originally a man.
Uh-huh.
Dresses, talks, acts like a woman, but yes, still has male reproductive organs. And they had sex.
See how you
And-
said originally a man?
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
are they not originally the same thing? They're just identifying what's in their head. You know what I'm saying? See how you said they're originally a guy?
Okay.
but identifies as a woman, but still-
Originally the gender of a man. Like Because when you're born, I don't think you know when you're a baby.
Yep.
Like you don't, right? Like
No.
that is a choice
No,
that comes
yeah,
up later in your
you don't.
brain. So when I say originally, yeah, it's what the gender that you were born. That's when I'll say someone is originally something else. When the gender that you were born is the same as the sex that you were born. So gender is what you identify as. Sex is your anatomy. Male sex and male gender aren't the same thing. Female gender, female sex is not the same
Totally
thing.
different.
Yeah.
Gender's in the mind.
Gender's in the mind. Yeah. And it's fine. I'm cool
People
with
hate
it.
that saying, but it's in the mind. Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, there are people out there on YouTube, like I've seen the videos where people get all pissed off when we make this argument, but it's true. Because we'll say that woman's not a woman. Some people will say, because then they want the ultimate title, a woman, right? So is a brain, if you have the brain of a woman, does that make you a woman? Well,
I don't understand that. How can you not accept your biology? Like if you have male parts, you're a guy. If you have female parts, you're a girl.
Right.
It doesn't matter if your mind thinks like you're a guy or a girl. If you have the guy stuff or girl stuff, that's what you are.
Right. So before this whole movement, it was about being gay and lesbian, right? Because it's just about your preference, your sexual preference.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't about like what you identify as. It's like when we looked at, like Ellen maybe, and Ellen and Portia, right? Portia is a lesbian, Ellen's a lesbian, but you could tell Portia is more of what you would think would be the female portion of the partnership, and Ellen is the more male version of the partnership, but they're both lesbian. Ellen's not claiming to be trans, or maybe she is. Who knows? Maybe she just hasn't really accepted it yet. I don't know. I don't think that's like a controversial statement or anything.
They're part of the vagina club.
They're
part of the vagina club. That's it.
But if some point Ellen wants to change her anatomy,
then she can be a guy.
Then she could be so that's what you're saying then. Like it has to be the anatomy.
I don't care if you're gay or lesbian. If you have the anatomy, that's what you are. If you choose to ignore the fact that you have that like part of anatomy in you, and you just want to disregard that and be like, oh no, I'm actually a girl when I have a penis. It's like, no, that's not how it works.
Makes sense, right?
Well, that's the thing. Even post-op, it's not like it's functional like a normal anatomy, right? This is my assumption. I don't know, guys. Correct me if you know. But like, if you're a woman and you're a post-op man, I don't think it works. I don't think you all of a sudden have testicles too, and you're like, sure, they can remove the uterus. You can remove uterus and fallopian tubes, cut all that stuff out. But like, oh, what just happened? Did I just lose Discord, guys?
Where'd he go?
Oh, I just...
Oh, he got cut off because he offended somebody.
All right, let me put that back on. Sorry, guys. Technical difficulties. I don't know if that was Discord or if that was my internet. But anyway, so you know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't think all of a sudden you...
Guy.
Well, I don't... Like, the hormones? That's produced in reproductive organs, right?
Uh-huh.
Isn't it? I don't know, guys. Yeah, I'm not a science major.
That's why they take those.
It's part of your sex. Yeah.
They take the pills, right? Then you would chemically start producing either more estrogen or more testosterone, right? Because we all naturally produce these things. It's just whatever you have more of. So you take these drugs to get more estrogen, or you take more drugs for testosterone, and maybe more. And that's the claim here. If a woman is transitioning to be a man, look at it this way. Like most of the news I hear is a man, let's say, competing in a women's event. Sorry, I can't say a man, but a trans woman competing in a women's event and then dominating.
Person with a penis.
Right. So that's the main news that we hear. Like, you move LeBron into the
Always.
WNBA, if you move Roger Federer into the WTA, whatever. Like this is what we're kind of looking at. But if you look at it the other way, let's say a woman wants to become a man. So she starts taking testosterone, which is a performance enhancing drug. Should she compete?
No.
In women's sports or
No,
men's
no.
sports?
Well,
She shouldn't compete.
No,
She
in
should
men's
compete in
sports.
her own group.
Exactly, because she's taking drugs. If she's
Yeah,
taking
she should
performance
take-
enhancing
she should-
drugs, it's
She
a
should be in the
prohibit.
group
Yeah,
with other druggies.
yeah, it's a prohibited substance. Like, why would she be allowed to perform in either?
Because you can't-
In either.
There's actually like trans that like biological men that became trans women in women's sports. Does the opposite exist?
Yeah,
Look that up.
yeah.
but it doesn't affect us.
Biological women.
It doesn't affect men.
But the results don't really change.
Like men don't care. It's never new. It's not news.
Because even if you have a woman trying to take testosterone, the normal men already have way more testosterone, so it's like there's a disadvantage still for the woman.
Muscle
even if she's
mass,
like
bone
she's not
density. It's already there.
in a physical competition. She's not going to be able to compete against these against
Yeah.
these.
I did think about the whole like rebuttal about how there's not enough of those people to make a league of their own or whatever. That's fine, but if you're gonna do that, then at least make it so that you measure all the hormones and all these levels so that they're equal before they compete. And
Yeah.
then, like that's fair.
It seems
That's
simple
that's the
enough to
most-
me. I don't know why there's such a debate.
It's such a big deal.
That's a good thing that you just
It's
brought
so
up there,
simple.
DayDay. Like when a guy transitions and is taking estrogen, how do you know what the normal is supposed to be for that person compared to
For
a
that
natural?
person,
You know, like
it
how
has
do
to
they
be
know?
compared to the other
Yeah.
women?
I guess it's based on
Yeah,
like
but
mass and
You know, like
based
this is
on
a man who was originally a male that was 6'2", weighed 185 pounds, transitioning. Like, what do you use to say that your estrogen can only be this high? Like, it's kind. I don't even know how they would do it.
Competing against,
Yeah.
then you shouldn't be able to compete. How
Yeah.
hard is that to
it's
understand?
so simple. I don't get why these associations are
I don't even
allowing
know
them.
why this is an issue with.
I know.
people who are
I
like,
still don't know
this
why it's
guy is
headlines.
A lot
girl,
of
but he's
people,
actually a guy.
No,
a lot of
because
people.
sorry, go ahead. Oh, well, the trans argument is the like, I'm a man, I should be able to compete with other men. I'm a woman, I should be able to compete with other women. But it's the title of this
Yeah.
single word that they're so focused
Now,
on.
do these women and do these women that are used to be men, do they have vaginas?
No,
Not all of them.
they don't.
Then why are you competing in women's? Like,
Exactly.
Because they think
They're crushing it too, man. They're
Bro.
crushing it.
Well, no,
They're
no,
crushing it.
dude, I agree with you. But basically, their argument, and for some reason, people are listening and being empathizing with them. Their argument is because I identify as one, and that's
okay,
all.
then
Apparently, they
then-
need.
Yeah, but that doesn't.
Then okay, that's like saying, "Yo, you're now a horse, so go run with the horses." Like,
Yeah. Yeah,
it's so stupid.
it's like I identify
Thomas.
as a puppy, and then now all of a sudden, like you compete against other puppies, and like you win this
That-
like
you know the
obstacle course.
the Leah Thomas, right? That's the big story right now. The
Leah Thomas?
the Penn State swimmer. Yeah, she's
Yes.
crushing it. Like she's breaking records by seconds. Usually when you break a record, it's
Yeah.
just by a fraction. So but she's breaking records by 15, 16
This-
seconds. It's
this
like,
woman,
man,
this
no
woman.
woman is gonna beat that. Like it's insane.
Unless another
So-
girl comes along.
Yeah,
Then you have
Yeah.
basically another event that's for trans.
Exactly.
It's not
And
about
she
like
was
there's not
ranked-
enough people to compete. If you want an event to compete, then
she
you
competed
compete.
as a male last year.
Oh, really? And yeah, and was
Yeah,
it good,
she
right?
took-
Yeah. And she wasn't like
she was ranked 236
yeah, yeah.
at collegiate level for men.
So
Now
She
she's
was
won.
ranked 236. And
Now she's
just
won.
crushing
basically,
the
she
fucking women.
decided to
Oh.
go over the pond and then just be like, "Oh, I'm a girl now."
Yeah. Yep. And she still likes women. She's vocal. She's straight up. I'm not gay. I still
What?
like women.
What?
I'm still into. You're not. Yeah.
Wait, what? Wait,
It's
what?
fucked up.
Are you serious?
Yeah. She's not a lesbian. She's a lesbian. Yeah. She's still into women. She likes women.
And she
Okay,
has
I know
Yeah,
that- Okay, I do know that exists.
No, she's
that's
got,
crazy.
They're complaining because the women. The
So
women
she
are complaining like, man,
identifies.
why do we gotta change with this
She
guy?
identifies as a woman, lesbian.
Right,
But
right,
he has a
exactly.
she
Because
has a
she's
penis.
still into women.
What?
She
That's
hasn't
so
had the surgery.
stupid.
That's so
It's
ridiculous.
so dumb.
It's
They
so
should not be able
ridiculous.
to compete if they don't have the same anatomy to begin with.
Like, look
That's
at her
like-
fucking like it's
that's
crazy.
Like, is she?
Like
Is
she hasn't
she?
done anything. She's still.
is
dude, that's literally.
I don't
like
even know
Hold
why
on.
she's wearing
LeBron in
the
a-
bathing suit.
Is she getting? Is she getting
Like
like
what?
sponsorships and stuff? Is she getting paid?
I don't
I
know.
hope not.
No, you can't get paid. You can't get paid in college. Like there's no
Right. Yeah, you can't because
There's
then you'd be
no,
pro, and that's prohibited.
endorsement. Yeah, you lose your scholarship. Yeah, they don't. But she is. I don't even know why she's wearing a bathing suit. Like, she
I know.
doesn't have any breasts. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Well, do you
Because-
know? Is she
because
taking? Is she
she's a
taking
woman.
estrogen? Is she taking estrogen? Probably, right?
I think she is. She had to take some kind of estrogen to lower her testosterone. So, you know what I'm talking about? Like they had to do something like that. But she is essentially still a guy. She hasn't done anything else to her body. She hasn't done any surgeries. Hasn't done nothing.
I'm just really
Okay.
surprised that they let her compete.
So she's taking
That's-
testosterone blockers.
Yep.
Shocking.
She's taking testosterone
No,
blockers.
so she's taking
and
blockers.
estrogen,
Yeah.
and she's taking estrogen too.
Yep. Because she still has her balls, so her body's still making testosterone.
Yeah, yeah. That's not gonna be enough. Well, here I heard about it too, where this
No.
male trans woman, I gotta call him trans woman, is competing in wrestling, and you know
Oh,
that's
my God.
also based on weight class. That's not even just your
Yeah.
age class or I think swimming is there is no classes, right? It's just there is no class. You could be however tall, however heavy or
there's
whatever.
yeah.
But in
Yeah.
wrestling, there's specific weight classes.
Yeah.
So huge advantage.
Yeah, there's a girl right now in high school. This high school girl, this high school male, this person with a penis is rocking all the people with vaginas in
Yeah.
high school wrestling. It's sad.
These
These women,
this guy.
yeah, look at this.
Look
Oh,
at this.
Yeah,
Look at how.
That's
Oh
a
my-
girl?
No, this
that's a
the
girl,
one
dude.
the one in the back. The
Identifying
one
as
in the back is a guy. Well, is the girl. Identifies as
is
a girl.
identifying as a woman.
What?
What do you-
Yeah.
No one
Brutal.
talks about the transgenders that get beat by cis athletes. No one talks about the transgenders that get beat by cis athletes.
What's cis athletes?
Normal? I'll call it normal.
No one talks
Well,
about
Natural.
give us an
transgender-
example.
Yeah, no, but like it doesn't matter because that's also unfair.
Like they
that's-
shouldn't be
that's
competing
also-
there either.
That's also another point. That's like
No one talks about
Yeah,
it. What
they
do you mean
shouldn't.
no one talks about it? Like
it doesn't
it's not a
matter if no one's
headline,
talking
you're
about
saying?
It's
Like,
still-
should it
it's
be-
still-
should it? Well, why not? Well, sure, we can talk about it now if you want. But are you saying why isn't it
doesn't
a
change
headline?
The topic discussion that the focus that they shouldn't be competing in those spaces.
Yeah,
If anything, that solidifies it because that means that's not fair for them, right?
that's not fair for them either. Yeah, it's not
So-
like we're okay
so-
with it.
So it's like both ways. You're doing something stupid. Like why?
Yeah, it's unfair to
why-
both sides of the argument. So even if no one's talking about it, it doesn't mean it's still not unfair to both sides of the argument. I agree with that. Like, if it's not making headlines, because it's probably they're not on the podium. They're not winning.
It's also the media too. They don't care about people who lose. They only care about people who win. And then they're like, oh, but this guy actually won because he's a guy, not his skill. And then that creates like buzz, and then you get the views and ads and
Yeah.
that's,
It's not that people aren't talking about it because no one cares. I think it's people aren't talking about because it's not headlines. It's not on the
like
news.
I'm not saying they shouldn't be competing because they're always winning against the other spaces. I'm saying they shouldn't be competing, period, because they shouldn't be competing. Like
Yeah, it's not an equal playing field, and that's the whole point of competition. Well, at least for a very long time, sports is always trying to maintain equal competition.
yeah, it's not equal at all. And
No,
and
not at
they
all.
should be they should have their own league, or they should just not be allowed to compete. That's it.
In these competitions, yes,
Yes.
I agree. It doesn't make
if
any
it's like,
sense.
I don't know, if it's like
I
bowling,
mean-
then who cares? But like,
If it's bowling, well, here's the
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Here's the thing. Chess, right?
yes, okay.
I think bowling it still counts because bowling still has a physical element. So you still have an advantage if you are able to throw the bowling ball harder. So that makes sense to me. But chess, any kind of sport that's just mental game, for sure. That's why you don't have men's chess, women's chess. The chess champion is whoever wins. Like, that's it, you know?
That's true. That's true.
Is there any others? I don't think so. Like, look at StarCraft 2 with what's her name?
Scarlet.
Scarlet. Yeah. This is a trans, I think she's a trans woman, right?
Yes.
Actual
Canadian?
trans woman. She's Canadian. Yep.
Yes.
And she competes.
I think
just
she's
like,
Canadian, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she competes just like anybody else. Yes, she does a lot better than women in these games for some reason. I guess APM. I don't know, dude. Like, is that a physical thing? Maybe it is a physical thing, being able to like
Nah.
swing your mouse and click buttons faster. I don't know if it's motor skills or whatever. Like
I mean, if you could drink a beer and play, then it's not really a sport. But
golf. Nah, golf still you gotta hit.
yeah, golf.
What
You
does
got it's
APM mean?
golf's hard. That's why not a lot of people can do
Actions per
it.
minute.
Actions
Yeah.
per minute.
Oh yeah, actions
How
per
fast
minute. Yeah,
you like click your mouse and keyboards and stuff.
yeah. How many?
Oh yeah, was
yeah.
those were parts? That was part of those like games that you guys were playing at one point with the typing speed and shit. Or no?
I
that
heard
was
some of these
one.
Koreans can hit like 300.
300.
I'm like, wow.
But it's you
Yeah,
were
like
300, dude.
clicks. Yeah,
Active or
Yeah.
spam?
like
Like actual like, you know what I mean?
I don't know. I just watch the replays and then I see it. So
Yeah. Because if
yeah,
you hit
it's
if you hit
insane,
a
like that.
key,
Wow.
But I'm not
multiple
actually
times-
doing things productive.
Yeah.
I'm just spamming shit. So it's like
yeah. I can spam 300 actions per minute too, but it's just
man, that's
I tried that. I can't even do the hotkeys.
But
so
you know
fuck,
what?
I'd get rocked.
I even just making that point too. I don't think it's fair. Yeah, if you have StarCraft, let's say a woman, like a natural actual woman, I know that's even me saying that is like politically incorrect. A natural actual woman, but a born woman starts to like say, you know what, I want to be the best StarCraft player in the world, and she starts training, right? Eventually, if actions per minute really is a metric that separates a top athlete, then she is at a disadvantage because there's a physical element to StarCraft now. You know what I mean? So maybe StarCraft should have divisions too. What do you think?
they do.
They have women's and men's?
Yeah, it's just
Do-
they don't.
do they have
that
a men and
GSLs.
Oh, then why?
That's all.
Oh. So do you
Yeah,
think
women's
Scarlet would?
teams.
Well, obviously Scarlet would dominate the female category, wouldn't she? Yeah.
Yeah.
Even Counter-Strike, you know, anything that requires a APM, then okay, that's a physical element. Anyway, okay, it's been almost an hour. So
Here's my question to y'all: if you're in jail, if you find yourself in the unfortunate predicament that you're incarcerated, and you're faced with the decision of having a dude put it in your butt, or you put it in a dude's butt, what are you doing?
I'm lost. What are you asking?
if you're in prison, would you take it or give it? Basically,
If you had the choice,
I'm not going to prison.
I
Good
abstain.
answer. That's a good answer.
Abstinent. I'm chastity.
I abstain.
I don't want to take part in either.
It's like that. Remember Chris Rock and his famous? She goes, "What would you do with the new guys in jail?" I make them toss my salad. What the fuck are you talking about? Chris Rock. Fuck.
Oh, it's funny you
Oh,
brought up
man.
Chris Rock again.
I don't know.
I just read
Yeah.
because we watched Batman. We watched Batman, right, Deji?
Mhm.
So I heard
So good.
headlights about Zoe Kravitz. Zoe Kravitz is Catwoman in Batman, and she made comments
Yes.
basically.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, she's awesome. She made comments basically criticizing Will Smith for physically assaulting Chris Rock,
Okay.
and the internet. The internet. Some people are like, "You don't like that he was defending his woman," and she's like, "No, I don't." And so then these internet haters scoop up old tweets and footage of her.
God.
So when she was 24 and Jaden Smith was 14, there's comments of her basically saying how he seems more suave and cool for his age at 14, and like, wow, when you're older, hit me up. Like, she was saying this to Jaden when she was 24 and he was 14, a minor. And now people are like getting mad at her for being what's the word, predatory. They're saying she's predatory. And there's also a clip of her when she's 26 and he's 16, and it's like an interview, and she was saying things like, he's the love of my life, he's my date for tonight, I love him. Like, she was caught on camera, not caught on camera, like it was on an interview where she said that, where she's saying these things to a minor, and they're trying to position it as if she's predatory.
Wow.
What do you think about that?
I think
Later,
the
like this
internet
from
loves
10
the
years
internet.
ago or something.
It's a stretch.
These people need a hobby, man.
Bro.
Yeah.
like,
It's a stretch,
come on.
big time. That's a big reach.
If I'm 14 or
And-
16
yeah.
and I have some woman in my 20s, well, that's the thing though. That's another thing with a man would be like, a boy, even a boy, 14-year-old, 16-year-old would be like, that's a thing to celebrate. Man, Zoe Kravitz, 10 years older than me, is into me.
Right.
Be like, hell
Right.
yeah, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? You would celebrate that.
Yeah.
I think
But if it was
people
the other way
forget-
around, but if
I
it was
think
the other way
people-
around, if Jaden was a woman and Zoe was a man, that would be bad. That would be politically, that's predatory. If you think about it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, you mean if the older person was the guy?
Was the guy, yeah. It's
Uh,
age old, it's like
Yeah.
stupid.
that's what you
Double standard, but I get it still. I still like I hear that scenario and I get it. It's not like, ooh, shock factor, ooh, how dare she?
It's
Or
just like you hear the hot teacher banging the students, and the guys think like, oh man, that kid's the coolest kid in school.
yeah,
Right?
that guy's
It's a double
celebrated.
standard.
Yeah.
That's a little
Yeah.
that's a little different because that is predatory. But like, this is a situation
Yeah,
where
that's true. That
This is a
is
situation where like this is Will Smith's son. Will Smith arguably
Yeah.
the biggest star in the world, probably at this point or whatever. And like his son too is also like making a name for himself. And it's kind of like the trope of being like the popular teen stars, like like older
yeah.
women, like they think you're cute and they like hang out with you and shit, right? Like if you look at Puff Daddy's son, have you guys ever like seen like videos of Puff Daddy's son?
No.
He looks exactly
I
like him.
didn't even think he.
He's like the
I thought he keeps them hidden, like in a way.
I didn't even
He's
know he
like
had
the
kids.
coolest like miniature Puff Daddy ever. So you can
Miniature.
obviously like see like older women just be like hanging out with him and shit and thinking he's cute or whatever. If
Yeah,
she's like
because it's
sleeping
Puff
with
Daddy's
him,
kid.
if she's sleeping with him when he's 14, that's a different story.
Wait, which
You
one
know?
are you talking about? King, Quincy, or Justin?
Must be this guy.
King,
King.
It's gotta be this guy.
right? Like you can just tell.
This guy right here, yeah. Oh, sorry. If you see, yeah, on the third guy in this photo, right?
Yeah,
It's
right
gotta
beside him. Yeah, right
In the
here.
green
Yeah.
suit.
They all have different skin tone. That's cool.
So
He's
yeah,
like even like his music is like sounds just like him.
I agree that it's true when it's the teacher student thing. Yeah, position of power, that is predatory. That's taking advantage of that scenario, like that professional scenario. So I do see that. It's not the same as just out on the street, some 16-year-old kid goes to the store, maybe looks older for his age. Some 23, 24-year-old girl looks at that kid and starts to look at him desirably. That happens. And that happens the opposite way too. 21, 23-year-old guy sees a 16-year-old girl in a store in the mall, a restaurant, bar, waitress, whatever it is. You don't know ages right away. Just you can't tell, man. With these hormones nowadays, or makeup and clothes, you just can't tell age differences so easily these days. So yeah, you're gonna have a lot of more of these like scenarios where people are, you know, not of age, illegal, minor. It's not makes it doesn't make it.
I thought you were gonna say trans.
No, it doesn't make it
Transy.
predatory. No, it doesn't make it predatory. I'm just saying, like.
I wonder how.
As a 16-year-old boy.
I wonder if she knew how old he was when she sent that. Or
She did.
Was just like,
She did. No, she did. Yeah.
Okay.
Like she's from Kravitz. Like they come from fame and, you know, like
And Hollywood
celebrity
is about
too.
that, though.
Yeah.
That's Hollywood. Hollywood's
Yeah.
crazy.
I mean, I'm gonna assume that the little Will Smith's kids have seen a ton of shit growing up anyway. You know, they've been around. Who knows what, right? Even at that age.
They're swingers apparently. You know what? There was a time I remember where the Will and Jada was like the power couple. They were the super couple. And then eventually I started hearing that they were swingers, and I was like, "What?" And I don't believe it. Looking back now, I don't believe that they were swingers. Maybe she was down
Jada
for
was
it.
a swinger.
Yeah, she might have been down for it, but he wasn't. He is not that kind of guy. So yeah, and now you see the repercussions of all that. Like, yeah, it's.
Y'all hear what Jada's favorite
He's
month
never.
is?
What?
July.
August.
Right.
That,
I forgot what his name was. I'm like, favorite month. Okay.
I'm a suck, man. Like, look at your legacy is just going down in flames.
I think
Or
he
Will.
should leave her. Yeah. Will leave Jada.
Yeah, there's
nothing-
footage coming out now.
my place.
Yeah,
You can have an opinion. You don't want to have opinion.
he's a grown man. He knows what he's
abstaining?
gonna
I
get his
don't
stuff
care.
into. So he's.
I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think
Oh,
they'll ever split up.
Yeah.
In my head,
He's
it's
a
more
grown
like
man, so he's gonna make a decision.
yeah, but you can make, you know, if I see someone suffering, I'm gonna as a human being, I'm gonna make a comment that I think is in his best interest. He's suffering. He needs to leave her, and she's the cause, man. Like, yeah,
I think
that's my guess.
he's already had friends and family. Probably, I think he's already had friends and family already broach him with this subject. There's no way it's a mystery, you know, surprise to anybody, let alone his friends or family
Yeah.
who are around him all the time.
Yeah,
And,
he's
you
committed.
know, so
Yeah, I don't think they'll ever split
yeah,
up. Though.
I
There's an interview where he's like, "There is nothing that will ever split us up. We're life partners. Nothing." I was like, "Damn, son, that's deep."
Sure, but
Nothing.
after but after watching him in the Oscars, he's not right up here, right? So
no,
maybe
it's-
at some point he will get right up there, and then he'll figure it out. What are you doing?
That's August and Jada.
I don't know what's going on, but okay. Anyway, that was a good discussion, guys. I think we can wrap it up. Any other?
Wait, so
no,
what's the conclusion?
of what? Like this headline? Like why are we talking about it? Like the
Yeah.
So we were saying the kids. Let's say they have these kids.
Kids,
These
right.
women actually give birth,
Oh, okay.
right? Imagine
I
that
didn't know
scenario.
I didn't know that, but okay.
Well, we don't know. We don't. There's not. That's not part of the article. We're assuming they're all gonna get abortion. I'm assuming they're gonna get abortions.
So okay, hold
That's
on.
my
I actually
assumption.
found this article.
Yeah.
So it looks like they go into foster care.
Oh, okay.
A woman who becomes
they're gonna bring
pregnant
up the
while
term?
incarcerated will be allowed to carry the baby to term. She will not be able to keep the baby while she's in prison. If her family is able to care for the baby, they will probably be the first choice of foster parents. If not, the baby will be placed with foster parents until she is released.
That makes sense. That makes sense. But I think it's in this scenario it's pro-choice. I don't think the religion has a place in prisons. I have no idea. I don't know if that it's part of it. Like if they would not pro-choice these inmates, right? I don't think the church has an actual like authority over incarceration. I'm assuming.
It'll be interesting to see what the protocol is when now you have to take care of a pregnant woman in jail. I mean, that must be a lot, you know,
Well, they do.
so many
I mean,
different protocols to enact, right?
in this particular scenario, though, both parents are in jail. It's like I don't think they're gonna have the kids in my head, and I believe my guess is they're not gonna have these kids. But
so
that
I
makes
guess
sense.
the next question is, what's to
This is-
prevent him from knocking up some other women in that jail?
Well, that's the thing. All sexual acts are prohibited, right? So he has to be in
Yeah.
isolation. He'd have to be in isolation, or she would have to be in isolation. She
She'd have to be.
She broke the rules, and so when you break the rules, you get you get penalty. Yeah, solitary, maybe solitary confinement, or now she just lost her privileges to ever meet with anybody. If it like you would assume it happened, privately somehow. Do you think it would happen during like, recess time or something like that, where they went off on their own and did that thing, or do you think it happened post hours?
That's
They
a
snuck
minimum
out.
security, right?
Yeah, did they sneak out and then like do this thing in their own cells? You don't know, but
Yeah.
in either case, you break a rule, you get punished. So it's like you've now ruined your privilege to meet other inmates because of this.
So
now
this
you
is
can't.
This is the Health Services Policy and Procedure Manual for North Carolina Department of Public Safety Prisons. I don't know how far that is from New Jersey.
It's
but
far.
Pregnant offenders.
It's far.
Offenders remaining in prison after pregnancy has been diagnosed will receive regular prenatal care to include medical examinations, advice on appropriate levels of activity, safety precaution, nutritional guidance, and counseling. So I'm looking at the counseling and thinking maybe. Oh, actually, there's a part here that says comprehensive counseling and medical care given to pregnant offenders in keeping with their expressed desires and planning for their unborn children. Pregnant offenders will be referred to the social worker for assistance with planning. So I don't know if planning entails like keeping the baby or not keeping the baby.
Right. But they have a choice, I'm assuming.
At least they get like, care or whatever. I was reading somewhere that apparently in traditionally prisons were actually not built for women in the US because like it's just,
Women didn't commit
men went
crimes.
to prison. Yeah, only men went to prison, and so like they actually don't have currently to this day a present infrastructure that's like accommodating for female inmates as far as like sterility and just like things to use and shit,
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was what we were discussing earlier, DayDay, before you came on, about the actual baby. And then after that, it was about, okay, well then how do you prevent this from happening? And I was making the argument that similar to sports, if they're going to need a separate category, another category of prisons, that's my solution. Like you have another wing in the same building. If it has to be the same building, you just another wing, like another department. Only trans people can access that one. You can only interact with other trans, and not trans like crossing trans. It would have to be only trans women in there, and then you only have trans men in another one. And yeah, you isolate them from the others because that's how it works. Like just how it works.
I wonder how the trans community feels about that. Is there like negative pushback to that? Like
probably not headlines because
specifically with regard to the athletics.
Oh, athletics? Segregation?
Yeah. The physicality of it, like
in prisons, you mean, or sports?
Sports.
Oh. What do you mean?
Like trans women competing against trans women.
Transphobic.
Trans men competing against trans men, biological men competing against biological men.
Okay.
Women, et cetera, et cetera.
I think the current issue with that question is the fact that there are no associations that cater to a competition of that level. Like, sure, if a neighborhood has a large population of trans athletes and wants to hold their competition, maybe they'll do it. They'll like organize it themselves and do that. But there is no like formal association in the history of, I think, sports where that exists yet. Yeah. So if it reaches
I just mean even like for the trans community, their reaction to like that idea, that concept, like what do they think about it? I wonder if there's like negative pushback, right?
Well, I'm thinking because they're trying to compete in the established, male category or female category, that they want a space. They do want a space. The thing is, their identification, they believe that they belong in the same space, the existing space. But now it's backlash from the rest of media and everyone else like us. We don't think so. We don't think that spaces should be shared. It doesn't make sense. It's not fair.
It's the
So
truth.
yeah, it has nothing to do with
Shifted
rights.
for sure.
Has nothing to do with like, you know, what if we respect you or not. Like for those people think like we don't respect you and we don't think you deserve. No, that's not what we're saying. It's about fairness in competition. So already, because it is a, and you're gonna use this word too, where people hate. You're gonna think it's what do they call it? It's transphobism. Apparently, transphobism is when we use the word unnatural. No, it's not. Like, like, relax. For the people who are gonna be all like really pissed off when I say things like natural and unnatural, I'm gonna say natural is what happens at birth. So if you do anything chemically to your body that changes that birth, like that natural like progression of your body from your birth, that is unnatural. That just makes sense, is that should be the definition. If you're taking any substances that alter your body from its natural state when it was born, that is unnatural. And in these spaces, in these physical competitions, yeah, that's prohibited. You can't do that. Performance enhancing, what's the opposite of enhancing? Depletion.
I don't know.
The opposite of enhancing, whatever it is, it's unfair. It's unfair because you're taking things that are like not natural. So it's like, why should you be competing in a space where they promote being natural? You can't do it.
That reminds me of when I was like playing on this basketball, like the summer league.
Yeah.
But I'd never like played in a summer league in the city, but my mom for some reason just randomly found the summer league that was happening at this gym. But I was like in high school, 16, 17, all these kids were like 12, 13. And it was like 8-foot rims. And so we had this shit every week. And I was dropping like 50. I was dunking on these motherfuckers.
Did they think you were 12?
Windmills and shit, yo. It was insane.
Windmills on 8-foot rims? No, that's dope.
I'd just be like, yo, throw me the alley-oop.
You were like Zion in high school, basically.
Oh my god, it was so much fun.
Anyway. All right. Anyone else want to say closing things? I think we can wrap this up for this week.
Yes, except your anatomy.
Except your anatomy. Yeah. Yeah.
And
if how I see it.
I mean, if you don't, it's cool, but don't force that on other people. You know?
Yeah, it's like
yeah. I'm a girl, but you have a penis. My brain is a girl. Okay, horse.
Well, that's the thing. Maybe there needs to be new terms between sex and gender. Maybe it's got to be different terms. You know, like it's got to be a different name word. Transphobia up in here. Flipstar saying we're all transphobic.
The penis club, you know.
Transphobia? That's not true. I don't mind trans people.
I don't mind it either.
How's that transphobic?
You could transphobic would be like you used to be a guy, get the fuck away from me. That's transphobia.
Yeah,
I didn't say that. That's not.
Or it's
like kill them all. You know, like all that kind of shit. No way.
You're not normal. Get away from me. Yeah, that's transphobia. Like
that's transphobia. I never said that. Nor did I imply that in any sort of way or form. Like
because it like phobia, you introduce some sort of fear to it, but there isn't fear. It's like we've identified with the definition of what sex is. And we've adopted what normal is in biology. So if something is foreign to that, that's not phobia. That's up for discussion. Basically, it's not.
People
phobia.
don't know what words mean, man.
Yeah,
they just like to throw shit out there. Like,
I think he was being. He was being sarcastic. I don't think he.
No, I'm not even talking about him. Wait, who is Flipstar?
It's in chat in Twitch, but I know him from high school. And
yeah, I'm not even talking about him. I'm just talking about in general. Like people just would be like to like just say stupid stuff, man.
Yo, when I watch debate stuff about this on YouTube, and there's like one person reacting to another person, and then they're reacting back, and there's backlash, a very common thing is when someone doesn't agree with the trans pro individual, they just automatically call them transphobic, and it's
Character
so,
assassination, baby.
it's annoying.
Character assassination 101.
Yeah. It's like, I don't want to listen to you. I'm just going to label you this, and then therefore I don't have to listen to you. And then it's like, well, then where's the discussion now? It's like,
Exactly. If they,
it's time for COD.
Oh shit, it's closed. Yeah.
All right, good
So
one.
that's
Good
a lot,
good
right?
discussion, guys. Next week is 60th. It's our 60th.
Whoa.
That's kind of
Wow.
cool. We don't know what we're gonna do, but I'm excited about that. Maybe we can chill. Who knows? But Thursday,
That's
11
sick.
p.m. Eastern. We'll see you next week, guys. Thanks for watching. Hit like, subscribe, all that jazz. Take care, guys. I'll see you next week. Peace.